So whenever a highly anticipated game comes out, there is this tendency to hype it up so much that you might believe is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, of course, there is no such thing as a perfect game, and all of them have various issues, which oftentimes crawl on the surface after the game gets released, and the hype train starts to slow down a bit. However, there are a few other trends that I've been seeing for a while. For example, there is the whole grift, this or that game destroys the AAA industry, and other rage-bait titles like that, even though the game in question sometimes is as well AAA. Although the funny thing is, I've seen people framing Larian Studio and Baldur's Gate as an indie studio in order to fit into this anti-AAA narrative. I'm pretty sure maybe you all have seen at one point or another this whole Clair Obscur was made by just 30 people, which is absolutely true if we ignore the rest of like hundreds and hundreds of subcontractors and freelancers. This is just a part of a broader trend where you absolutely must berate or put down other developers, because we all know you can't really enjoy a game unless you shit all over other devs or other games at the same time. Another part of this is the obsession some people have with details and constantly comparing games based on that. I already covered this, so I won't go through that again, but another trend that I've been seeing is what if this game that currently turned out to be pretty great was made by other developers. This whole thing started, I believe, when Elden Ring came out, and then people were like, what if this game was made by Ubisoft? And I'm sure all of you maybe have seen this meme where you see this screenshot covered with icons everywhere. So the joke here, I guess, is Ubisoft games are full of icons, which is not even that accurate in the first place. For example, the minimap in the upper right corner reminds me more of The Witcher 3 than some of the latest Assassin's Creed games, which adopted a very Elder Scrollish compass. Now, unfortunately, it was just a matter of time before people started milking the shit out of this meme, and eventually this would apply to other games as well, like what if Kingdom Come Deliverance was made by Ubisoft? And the joke is, well, what you would expect. A bunch of icons and instructions, I guess, which are bad apparently, because yeah, it's much better to go outside of the game and look up for those. And need I remind you, all those things exist as well in Kingdom Come? Like when you start the game, there are a bunch of instructions and icons pretty much everywhere telling you what you have to do. So if this is supposed to be a parody or something, I really don't think it hits the mark. Not to mention, especially in the latest Ubisoft games, you can pretty much customize your experience however you want to, like you can make it full of icons if you want to, or have none of those things. And honestly, I really wish this freedom existed in other games as well. Now, the latest entry for this trend is what if Ubisoft made Silksong. The basic gist and the template is exactly the same, don't expect any creativity for these types of jokes. Large icons everywhere and obnoxious instructions that constantly interrupt the game. That being said, what if Ubisoft actually made Silksong? And we can actually look at a Metroidvania made by Ubisoft, which is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. A pretty great game, by the way, if you are a fan of this genre. The game does have a few more things on screen than Silksong, which can be enlarged or made smaller or even hidden, by the way, but nothing even close to the so-called jokes these videos portray. And look, I understand these types of videos are supposed to be hyperbole and exaggerations. Personally, I don't think they're funny at all. They just repeat again and again the same fucking joke. Extremely shallow and surface level, and doesn't even capture what Ubisoft actually does. Next on the list is Bethesda. Now, what if this or that game was made by Bethesda? And the punchline every single time, I'm not joking, is loading times. That's it. Like every single action you perform, there's a loading time. Even though in their actual games, like Skyrim for example, there is no loading time when you perform those actions in the first place, like crafting something or smithing. Now, this whole thing started after Starfield was released, which does have quite a lot of loading times back to back. I'm not going to defend that. But the thing is, while their previous games also had loading times, they were never that often. Like sure, when you enter or exit a building there is one, but actually you can explore the entire world map for hours and hours without any loading time. Moreover, there are plenty of actions which don't have anything like that. For example, in Skyrim you can ride a dragon and there is no loading time for that. Or in Fallout 4 you can call the vertibird, fly all across the world map in real time without any loading time. So look, if you haven't played anything from Bethesda or Ubisoft, some people might find some entertainment in these types of videos. Otherwise, they are just brain-dead content with exactly the same punchline, and I can hardly imagine anyone enjoying this. So yeah, that's it. That's something I wanted to ramble on a bit. So yeah, see you next time.